after a video was posted on social media that showed a child being sexually abused. Police advise members of the public not to share nude pictures on social media with anyone, especially those of children. It can result in a criminal offense with other possible repercussions. The government has pledged to protect our youth and elderly from violence, crime, and abuse. During the country's first ever national forum on the primary prevention of violence in our communities, Prime Minister Philip Davis today revealed the staggering fact that some 583 children were victims of abuse and violence in the year 2024. Prime Minister Davis expressed his dissatisfaction with these numbers and emphasized that it is his administration's top priority to protect the young and vulnerable of this nation.
In the Bahamas, we are painfully familiar with the cost of violence. Every year, hundreds of children endure abuse. 583 last year alone, a figure that continues to climb. Gender-based violence remains a blight on our nation, with 1 in 4 Bahamian women experiencing physical or sexual violence in their lifetime. Studies show that children exposed to violence, whether at home, in schools, or in their communities, are more likely to repeat those patterns as they grow older. A child who suffers abuse or witnesses violence in their formative years often carries those scars into adulthood, creating a cycle that perpetuates the very conditions we seek to overcome.
Prime Minister Davis went on to highlight the fact that violence has become a regional issue, with a number of our neighboring countries experiencing similar issues. However, the Prime Minister reassured the public that the government has a plan in place to actively combat this wave of violence and child abuse.
Violence is not just a matter for the police or the courts. It impacts our health systems, our education systems, and our economic prospects. It demands an integrated response, bringing together government agencies, community leaders, and international partners to address its many dimensions. For the Bahamas, this means strengthening our social safety nets, expanding mental health services, and investing in education and job creation to provide alternatives to crime. It also means addressing the culture of silence that too often protects perpetrators and isolates victims. In a nation as small and as closely knit as ours, we cannot afford to turn a blind eye. Our Caribbean family, through CARICOM, must also move with greater urgency and unity to tackle this shared challenge.
Additionally, Mr. Davis said, in order to bring about change, we must acknowledge the pain in our communities and commit to healing it. Although the 3 umbrella unions were not all on the same page this week in regards to the 2 days of industrial action taken by the Trade Union Congress, the TUC, there was at least one common thread that union members agreed to, and that is their claim that government boards and presidents of various institutions are stifling progress. TUC President Obi Ferguson said, once labor agreements have been reached, the Prime Minister's staff does not carry out his wishes.
The problem we're having is that we can't get nothing done. And it's nothing personal. I heard the Prime Minister saying we have access to him. We never deny that. But if you have a meeting and you're not getting anything done, the problem we have, and we said it to the Prime Minister, is that his underlings do not carry out his instructions. So we are bound to take whatever legal action necessary.
Daniel Thompson, president of the University of Tertiary Educators, UTEB, made a similar claim while on the rundown on ZNest with host Clint Watson.
I find that a lot of the problems that many of these workers are experiencing is because of the CEOs, the directors, the presidents of these various boards and organizations, that they cause a lot of issues in implementing the will of the government. So a lot of time, it's not so much the minister or even the Prime Minister.
UTEB falls under the National Congress of Trade Unions, the NCTUB. Additionally, President of the Bahamas National Alliance Trade Union Congress, BNATUC, Belinda Wilson, while on the same show, also expressed frustration getting things done. She said while she believes the Minister of Labor, Pia Glover-Roll, fights for the workers in cabinet meetings, it is her belief that the government does not have labor as a priority. And finally, in this segment, during a press conference today at Bahama, Prime Minister Philip Davis urging the Bahamas Doctors Union, the consultants, physician staff, that association, along with the Bahamas Nurses Unions, to return to the negotiation table. He said it is important to understand that the government is not negotiating against the unions, but on behalf of the Bahamian people. The Prime Minister said since June of 2022, his administration has been actively engaged in negotiations with the unions, with over 17 meetings held. He said they have also been able to resolve $2.8 million in outstanding holiday pay, including $1.5 million in ex gratia payments to healthcare workers in October of 2023. The Prime Minister said three of the major issues include how doctors' overtime pay is assessed, as doctors are reluctant to sign in when working overtime, something the government does not agree with. Then there is the issue of health insurance. The Prime Minister said they have offered 3 comprehensive options to the healthcare workers who have refused them. The third issue he spoke of was finalizing various agreements. The Prime Minister once again urging unions to return to the negotiation table in an effort to resolve the issues together. You're listening to JCN News. We'll take a break here. We'll be right back after these commercials.